Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. I don't know how to feel about this episode. I really don't. I mean, hell, this story has been entertaining. I know a lot of people didn't really like it because they're pretty much just kind of rehashing what happened about 20-something years ago, but I've been liking it for the most part. Certain little things has just been, like, kind of silly at this point, like, you know, the devil turning people into cats. Like, what? So he turns, well, you know, Susan into a cat and then turns her back for some odd reason. But then, you know, Susan is, you know, praying and stuff like that. And at first, it seems like it's not working. And then John is like, you know what? At this point, why not? So, apparently, it's their anniversary. And somehow, you know, they're able to cast him out of Marlena's body. And the Susan's body. So, we really didn't actually do too much of anything at that point. So, you know, Marlena wakes up and she's all like, no, you can't do anything to John. And, you know, the devil pretty much just kind of just pimp smacks Marlena into the wall. I was just like, well, what was you planning on doing? Like, how is that going to work out? I mean, whatever. So, you know, Marlena's like, you know, I mean, well, you know, Devil's like, maybe I should sit there and kill you. And then, you know, John's like, well, you may kill me, but you won't be able to kill our love. And, you know, Devil's like, you know what? You got a point. This damn love thing. Or maybe if I break her spirit, then that might just kind of do the trick. So, you know, he's like, maybe I should just get you to break your vows by, you know. And of course, you know, John is like, well, why would I sit there and break my vows with you and with Susan Banks, you know? And of course, at that point, you know, Devil's like, alright, well, that may be true with Susan, but then he transforms into an older version of Kristen. I don't know what that was about, but I don't, because literally when he transforms, you know, she's all like, oh, well, you may be able to resist Susan, but you won't be able to resist your old flame, Kristen. And I'm just like, what? Correct me if I'm wrong, but don't we actually already have a Susan? Don't we already have a Kristen on deck? Like right now? Why? I'm just not there asking, why would they use an older Kristen? If that's true, that is. Why would they use an older Kristen? And we got a Kristen on set. Why are we paying for another? Maybe it's a nostalgic thing. Maybe that's what it is. I mean, at this point, you know, the devil's turning people into cats. So, like, why am I even bothering to question anything at this point? Chad and Abby. You know, usually, more or less, I kind of like these two, you know, as characters. And I felt like they didn't really do anything in this episode. All he did was talk about Gwen. And Abigail felt kind of bad because, you know, Jack lost a daughter. And then they reconnect and have sex. That's literally it. I mean, they were there to run down the clock, obviously, but that was about it. They didn't really do too much of anything else. Gwen came and, you know, she went to go see Melinda. And was like, hey, you know, I want to sit there and get back that money since I'm going to be the one that's going to sit there and tell the truth about, you know, tell the truth to Jack about my dirty little secret. And, you know, Melinda's like, well, why would you do that for? Why would you do that now? Like, aren't you afraid of hurting your dad and pushing him away from you forever? And, you know, Gwenda's like, well, that's just a chance I'm going to have to sit there and take. And at this point, Melinda's like, alright, listen, that was, like, fun for, like, 5 minutes, but the thing is, I already know that Jack knows the truth. Because I have a lengthy phone message or text from Xander Snitcher saying that you double crossed me and pretty much want to do the exact same thing as to sit there and try to get back the money. And well, pretty much Melinda was like, yeah. I told him no also. So Glenn was like, well, if you knew that, then why did you sit there and have me do this whole little speech or whatever? And pretty much, Melinda was like, listen, I just want to see how far this is going to go. I mean, let's be honest. Being a day isn't exactly all, funds and bells or whatever. So, hey, listen, she wants to sit there and see a show, and you provided one. So, I ain't mad at her. And so at this point, Gwen tries to appeal to her sense of morality. Same thing that Xander did. And was all like, oh, I love him. And, well, I don't know if she said that, but pretty much she was like, he's done so much for me, and I would have fell apart, after everything that I went through with the miscarriage and Jack and everything else, and he's still by me. So I need to sit there and do this one thing for him. I need to sit there and make this right. Because at first, Melinda was like, alright, so let me get this straight. You want this money back so you can go and spend it on some trip? Like, really? But pretty much she just wanted to try to get the money back for him since he's done so much for her. And then at that point, Melinda was like, yeah, you know what, that was pretty much kind of touching, and I do understand where you're coming from. And the answer's still no, but that was a lot better than the BS story that you tried to tell me when you walked in there. And honestly, tell you the truth, I was like, I didn't understand why she was trying to lie for her. I didn't really get that, but okay, cool. I mean, the answer's still no, but yeah, you tried. Speaking of trying, Xander tried to go to Jack to try to mend the relationship between him and his daughter. And Jack pretty much was like, nope, not happening. One too many lies. And pretty much it was sort of the same thing that I was saying before when I was like, pretty much Jack was like, listen, I understood like maybe a week, day, couple weeks, maybe a month. Maybe 2 max. Maybe a month. Okay? But after that, it was just months after months after months after months. Like, pretty much he was like, we could have tried to do something. We could have tried to work something out. But she just kept lying and went past the point of no return. So he just, wasn't ready to forgive her. Hell, actually, to tell you the truth, he wasn't even ready to forgive Xander because, Xander lied to him. And even though Xander was like, yo, listen, I did it to protect her. I did it to protect her. I may not see it that way, but that's what I did. So at this point, Jack is just like, I want no parts of both of y'all. And before Xander leaves, Xander's like, alright, just ask yourself a question. This is after he tries to get him to see it from her point of view, as far as this whole lying thing. And it was still nothing. And then that's when Xander was like, listen, how many times, like, where would you be at if your family didn't forgive you for all the crap that you pulled on them and still stood by you? And if you can't see that, then you know what? That's on you, bro. Like, that's on you. Then that's your loss. And he walks out, and it gets Jack to sit there and think, like, yeah. I mean, he doesn't say it, but you can see the look on his face, like, he's right. Now, after, Kristen's waiting outside, and Melinda walks, Melinda sees her. Tells the cop to, take a donut break or something, or a coffee break. And pretty much it's just like, and by the way, when I sit there and say donut, I don't mean it like, whatever. And I just don't really feel like redoing it again. But that is not like a insult to cops or anything like that. That's not what that meant. It just meant take a break. But pretty much, Kristen was like, yeah, I'm here. Because they were exchanging words for a little bit. And Kristen was like, I'm about to go and see, I'm about to see Brady or whatever. And that's when Melinda kind of threw in her face, like, yo, listen, just so you know, Brady ain't coming. He pretty much said no. He wants nothing to do with you. And, yeah. So, I don't know what you're going to be waiting here for, but, He ain't waiting for him because he ain't coming. And, Kristen was like, oh, I don't believe you. And I was like, yeah, actually you do. I was like, you really do. Now, the interesting thing was, when Kristen went in the room, Kristen went in the room and saw Gwen. Because she was hearing a little bit the conversation that Gwen and Melinda was having. So she goes in there and she introduced herself. And she pretty much is like, listen, you're going to help me get out. You're going to help me get out of jail. You're going to help me bust out of this whole thing. Now, Gwen pretty much has that look like, well, why would I do that for? Like, we don't know each other. I mean, yeah. They know each other because, Kristen's brother and the baby and everything like that. But, like, they don't know each other. So she's like, why the hell would I want to get you out of jail? But I'm sitting there thinking is that she's going to sit there and tell Gwen that, I know what Sarah is. Now, the question is, I mean, I'm pretty sure she's going to sit there and try to use Sarah in some form of way, like some sort of trump card or whatever. I just don't know how she's going to sit there and use him. I don't know how she's going to use Sarah with her. I can see if Xander was there, then that would make more sense. But I guess we'll just have to sit there and wait until Monday to find that out. Because that I'm actually really curious about. I mean, I'm curious about the whole John Black and the older Kristen too. I just feel like that's just kind of a weird choice. Like, why are we getting another Kristen when we have one? Unless it's just some sort of, I don't know, fan service. That's the only thing I could sit there and think of. I feel like that's about it. I always feel like I miss at least something. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I missed something. So, with that being said, I'm going to go. If I missed anything, please write it down in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. I hope everyone has an amazing, great, and safe weekend. And I will see you in the next video.